Can you hear me? Oh, yeah, awesome. So this is very, very exciting because how many of you are under 25? Yay. Well, so let me tell you, I have a son who is 21 years old in college, and it's exciting to see that all of you young people are so energetic, positive, coming here, listening so intently, and going to be very successful in taking care of us when we get old. So, anyways, and then another thing that I'm really impressed about this crowd is, okay, it's hard for me to see because of the lights. So, how many of you are women are here? Yay! Oh my God, that's so awesome. I always come to these startup conferences, and there's only like 5%, 10% women. And guess what? You know, at the end of the day, they don't really know it, but the women control the world, don't we? So, what I want to talk to you today is Diane talked about some of the reasons the really successful companies, the technology evolved and started in Silicon Valley. I'm going to take it from another perspective, is to talk about culture. And the reason is that I see all of you guys out there, and probably a lot of you are going to start your own companies, and you're going to manage your teams. And what I'd like to talk about is some of the things that you can do to make the culture in your company really good so that you can be a Google, you can be a Yahoo, okay, and really, you know, have very happy, happy employees. And Anka, in the beginning of the conference, talked about being happy, right? Like you all want to be happy. However, you know, you can be happy going out with your friends to clubs, but that doesn't quite make you money. So the type of happy she's talking about is that you're very happy in your job. You really love your job, and you're so happy working that you want to stay there late. And that's what happens is that if you have a good culture, you'll be really happy working, and you'll work really hard, and that will really help you to succeed. So really quick about me, just so you know, I was actually born in Taiwan. So I actually was not born in the US. I had to go there too. I'm an engineering by background, but I also have a business degree. But the important thing is that I've actually worked for 6 startups. And yes, it's been very painful. The painful part was when I lost a couple $100,000 of my own money. But then there was other companies where we made a lot of money. And one of the companies that I started was actually in Singapore. So how many people know know where Singapore is? Oh, that's really good. Okay, how many people actually realize that Singapore has the same number of people as Lithuania? Yeah, Singapore has about 3 million people. And so I actually helped to start a company called Pacific Internet in Singapore. So you're thinking it's a company from a town with only 3 million people. How can it succeed on the global market? And we actually launched services all across Asia, and we went public on the NASDAQ. So it is possible. It is possible, even though Lithuania is a small country, you can start companies which can go worldwide and can go public in the US. And then this just tells you some of the roles that I do. Is I right now work with companies and governments and incubators around the world to help build their startup ecosystem. And I work with this, I'm on the board of a high-tech forum where we do events like this. And later on, I'm going to refer back to that when I show you something. So, as I started, it all starts with culture. Because there's regions in the world which have good schools, which invest a lot of money and have investors, and they try to do good startups. And they try to nurture good startups, but there's some regions which have invested $1 billion, and there are no successful startups. They try to be just like Silicon Valley. But what they are missing is the culture element. And that is why I'm going to talk about it, is as you start your companies, think about the next few things I'm going to cover. The first is you need to create an environment of trust, okay? People in the company need to trust each other in order to work together. And your employees, they don't trust managers who aren't open with them. They don't trust governments which are not open and share information. So it's very important to build a community and an environment of trust in your company. And it needs to be both ways. If you want your employees to share information with you, you need to share information with them. So they feel like it's two ways. And tomorrow when I do my workshop at 1 p.m., we'll do some exercises about how you can build trust in your organization. The second thing which Diane touched upon is risk-taking, okay? For those of you who've gone to business school, it's high risk, high return. And so it's very important to go outside of your comfort zone. You know, if you're an engineer, maybe you're just comfortable doing code. But if you want to run a business, you need to go beyond where you're comfortable. You have to learn about business. So when I was younger, I asked a mentor of mine, what do I need to do to grow in my career? And he actually said to me, you need to go out of your comfort zone. If you go out of your comfort zone, you will learn. And like going to new places, like traveling around to different countries, is a great way to learn new ideas and go out of your comfort zone. And so there's a term for it called cultural tourism. And then the last point, which Diane touched upon, is failing is good. Okay, how many of you have made a big mistake on an exam? Good. If anyone said you didn't, you would be perfect, right? Well, the thing is, see, you all remember what you failed. So you learn so much better because when you fail, you remember and you go and learn how to do it better. So it's okay to fail because you actually learn better. The only thing is, failing 100% is not good. And doing the same mistake over and over, that's not good. But failing to learn is good. And that's what Thomas Edison said. He goes, I have not failed. I've only found 10,000 ways that don't work. But in finding those 10,000 ways that don't work, he's found out things that work, like the light bulb. Another item is collaboration. It's really important to work together, especially in high tech. So in the case of high tech, you're often starting a new market. So the new market's very small, right? And if you want to grow the new market, let's say the market for mobile phones, if the operators and the equipment manufacturers don't work together, the phones can't call each other. The operators don't work together. Like someone on one operator can't call another. Then the market doesn't grow very fast. So it's very important in high tech that people work together because then you can grow the market much faster. So it's much better to have 10% of a market that is $1 billion than to have 100% of a market that's only $1 million. So that's something that happens in Silicon Valley, is a lot of competitors actually collaborate. And I'll give you an example. I actually hosted a company from Spain that was an electric car infrastructure company. They did all the charging systems for electric cars. I took the CEO to meet the CEO of a US company. And the US CEO told the Spanish CEO, this is my technology, this is how much money I make, this is my secrets, this is everything I do. And when we walked out of the room, the Spanish CEO looked at me and goes, is that guy stupid? He just told me his secrets. Does he know I'm a competitor? And I explained to the Spanish CEO that that the American CEO, the culture is, it's a new market, let's work together and grow it. So if you guys are working, you know, it's okay to work with people who are working on the same thing, because you'll actually make that type of service and that market grow bigger faster. And so one way to start collaboration is to meet people to work together, and this event is a perfect example, and Startup Weekend is another example. And then the third thing is integrity. So a lot of people think that integrity is just being honest, you know, just being truthful. But integrity is, there's another layer of complexity, which is a concept called relationship integrity. And that means that instead of just being honest with each other, that you're very fair with each other. And you really try to make sure that there is a positive value exchange, okay? You know, instead of competing with someone saying, I'm gonna win and you get nothing, figure out ways to work together. If you want someone from something from someone, think about that you get something from them, think about what you can give back to them. Then you'll build partners that want to work with you longer term. It's called relationship integrity. And in Silicon Valley, there's a huge amount of relationship integrity. Like when you ask people to do something, when they come back to you, you always help them out. It's a two-way street. So everyone is always helping each other because they practice relationship integrity. A good example of relationship integrity is Groupon. So how many of you know Groupon? Yeah, it's one of the fastest revenue companies. Is there a Groupon, any type of Groupon here in Lithuania? Yes, okay, lots of them. So one of the things about Groupon is, in terms of culture, Andrew Mason, who is the CEO, he originally started a company to provide discounts to help poor people. So he didn't mean to make money. He was doing something that he was passionate about, and it made money. But one of his attitudes is he wants everyone to win. He wants to make sure the consumers get value, the merchants get value, the investors get value, the employees get value, and even he gets value. If everyone gets value, they're going to want to help make it succeed. So it's a win-win-win, results in the most successful businesses. Okay, accessibility. This is great because you're all here. There's some successful investors here. We had the minister here. We had the minister of economy here. We have the vice mayor of Kiev here. So what they're doing is making themselves accessible to help the entrepreneurs. So for the entrepreneurs, make sure that you overcome your fear and go up to meet people. Go up to meet successful people that can help you. And here's the thing. Sometimes people will reject you. They won't want to talk to you. Don't worry about it. Then go talk to someone else who can help you. Later on, when you're successful and you're a billionaire, the person who didn't want to talk to you will want to talk to you. So reach out, and you'll be very surprised at how accessible a lot of the really successful, rich, top people are. Look, Jonathan talked about MC Hammer, right? So the guy who's next to me is actually MC Hammer. Do you recognize him? Actually, this is a good question because you guys are all so young. Most of you are. How many of you know who MC Hammer is? Some of you. Okay, MC Hammer is a famous musician. But we asked him to come present at the MIT Stanford V-Lab event, and he said yes. Isn't that surprising? This famous musician agreed to come speak. We just had to pick up the phone and call him. So people are accessible. You have to overcome your fear and ask them. And if one person says no, ask the next person. Okay, next item is constructive feedback. So how many of you study really hard and try to get good grades? Okay. All right. So when you work really hard on something, right, you think it's perfect. And so when someone tries to help you and give you some criticism meant to tell you how to make it better, how many of you feel bad when they tell you that? Yeah. Well, try not to do that. They're trying to help you. And if you get angry when they help you, saying, no, that's not true, then those people don't want to help you. So what you have to do is learn to take criticism or learn to take feedback. And one thing I'll say is at VLab, the organization that I'm on the board of, we run events about every month, and we have the top entrepreneurs come and present. And one of the things that I noticed is the entrepreneurs who were the most successful, the ones who were young but became most successful, were always very good at listening, very good at taking feedback, even if it was criticism. Like one company called AdMob, Omar, the CEO, you know, we gave him ideas on how to make his service better. And guess what? He sold his company for $850 million to Google. So it pays to listen. And then a last point is, occasionally, criticism is not meant to help. Criticism is meant to make the other people on your team feel bad, okay? So when you guys are managers, or some of you are managers, recognize the difference between criticism meant to help and criticism meant to hurt. And make sure that you stop those people. Because when they hurt other people on the team and criticize them to hurt them, guess what? Those people that are hurt are not happy. And then they don't want to work. So be aware of that. And then another point is empowerment. This is, in a lot of societies, you know, they always think, oh, the boss has to make the decisions and we listen to the boss. Okay? Is that the case in Lithuania? Yes, no. Who's with their boss here? But so the thing is in Silicon Valley, the leaders empower the team. They listen to the team. They let the team come up with ideas. And the concept is that innovation from the top down is very orderly, but it's not that successful. If you let the bottom layer, the employees, all innovate, the company is more likely to be successful. So right now, Google, which makes billions of dollars a year, they have this product called AdWords, okay? And AdWords right now makes 80% of Google's revenue. So if there was no AdWords, there really wouldn't be any Google. So how many of you think that AdWords was created by the founders of Google, Larry Page and Sergey Brin? Okay, a few of you. The truth is, AdWords was not created by the founders. Larry and Sergey really believed in empowering their people. So they always asked them for ideas. So the idea for AdWords came from a low-level engineer. Isn't that amazing? A low-level engineer came up with the idea, which now funds 80% of Google's revenue. And hopefully, they gave him some money. But you've got to listen to your team's ideas. A lot of times, they're better than yours. The one closing statement is, though, what's your role as a leader if you don't do the innovation? And I think your role is to provide inspiration and direction, and then be there to provide guidance and give a lot of support to your team to innovate and create things, and then respond to emergencies. When there's a crisis, that's when they really need you. And then share the wealth. So one of the things that Silicon Valley does is the attitude of sharing is, as you know, many of the startups, they give percentages of their company to all the employees. And when the employees own a part of the company, they know when the company gets very successful, they will get a lot of money. And so there have been a lot of millionaires created who were not founders, but they shared in the company's success. And so you'll see, most of the companies where you see people staying in the office till midnight, those employees own shares of the company. And like one of the companies I work for, when it got sold to Lucent, Ascend Communications, it got sold to Lucent, everybody, including the secretaries, all made at least $1 million. Amazing, huh? And the CEO made a lot of money. He basically has like 10 private planes now. So, but in addition to sharing stock options and sharing salary, companies like Google, they share their wealth by giving their employees free lunches, massages. Hey, is there a single company here in Lithuania that gives their employees massages? Not yet, but Dovydas says that he's going to support that, right? No, aren't you going to give government grants for massages? Okay, this is my last point, but it's a very important point, especially in Europe and Asia. How many of you have felt jealous when someone else did better than you? Good. I'm really proud of you guys for being honest. Okay. I've actually been talking to in a lot of countries about successful startups and why Silicon Valley is. And one of the things that a lot of countries have pointed out to me is jealousy is really bad here, and that's going to hurt us. And so here's and then it made me think and realize that Silicon Valley, there's not very much jealousy. When people are successful, everybody's happy. Like, if my friend is successful, then I'm happy, because guess what? My friend can give me a job, or my friend can invest in my startup. That's the attitude you should have, is when someone's successful, you have one more successful person to go ask help from, rather than being jealous. And then the whole country can come up, because everyone's happy and helping each other. So, you know, one thing I have to say is, you might think, well, this is just our culture. There's nothing we can do about it. I mean, I'm Chinese, and, you know, growing up, you know, my father was jealous when his friends did well. When I was in my 20s, when my friend got promoted, I was jealous. I didn't feel good. And I said, wait, that's being stupid. You know, you should be happy. And so you can be aware that you feel jealous, but if you realize that it's not a good feeling to have, try and control it, and over time, you will stop feeling jealous. So lastly, I just want to tell you is develop the right culture. You know, develop openness, trust, collaboration, both within your company and with other companies and other partners in Lithuania and outside. And try to teach the same things and the ethics of relationship integrity to your employees, to your children. Then next couple slides, I'm just going to talk really quickly about innovation. So as you work on products and services, just remember, innovation isn't creating something interesting. Innovation is creating something that is useful to some customers, to society, to some markets. So I wanted to show you some slides of people who have created value, which is innovating. One is Thomas Edison. Who's the other one holding the iPad? Jobs. And then who's that in the middle? It's Andreas. Andreas, stand up. Anyways, I just wanted to point out that Andreas invited me to speak at this conference 3 months ago. And when he asked him about the conference, I said, "What's the program?" "I don't know." "Who's going to come?" "I don't know." And I was like, this isn't going to happen. And he's been very, very innovative, working with the support of Enterprise Lithuania and a whole bunch of startup organizations to make it happen. And all I want to say here is it took a lot of innovation to have this wonderful conference and 1,200 people, all of you guys here. And so just remember, Andreas is Lithuanian. You're Lithuanian. You guys can all do this too. So just real quick on how to innovate. I'm not going to go into detail. It's to understand the customer, conceptualize, design, and then iterate. You're not going to get it perfect the first time. Don't look at it as a failure. It's just trying and improving, trying and improving. That's really what it takes to do a successful product. Doing something perfect the first time meant it was too easy. And then I had to show this, is the culture in Lithuania that you should listen to the older people and listen to the professors and obey? Raise your hand if that's the case. Okay. MIT, is one of the top schools leading innovative technology. And I was just there last week. And I saw this sign, the Center for Inventive Thinking. And it had this huge sign saying, disobey. Disobey your professors. Do new things. Don't just do what you're told. Try new things. They may tell you it won't work, but that's where you discover the new things. So it's actually okay to disobey. Oh yeah, I just thought this would be kind of fun. I used to be an engineer. I used to be a refinery engineer. I fixed pumps. And then I ended up being an entrepreneur. So you guys can too. How many engineers here? Yeah, you guys can do business too. So thank you very much.